What's up, guys? This is day 41. Today I went to pull with the guys at Elora. It was my first time being there. I think it was at Jamie Staken's house or Durrell. I'm not sure, but those guys. I've seen them. They've come to Jason's house. I've seen them around. I know they're super strong, and I've seen some videos and stuff. So there are a lot of super strong guys. But yeah, it was super cool practice, awesome place. Like they have a crazy setup, super high quality, fucking tables, and they have a station for chalk, and it was awesome. But yeah, so today probably is gonna be my last practice before, or at least I'm not gonna go too hard if I try to make it to another one until the event that Jason's gonna have, the 5v5 team thing. So I was kind of curious. I was keen to test myself out. I was hoping that I would do better with Mike, but at the same time, compared to where I was before, I've definitely made progress. Obviously, where I am right now versus the guys that I'll have to face in 2 weeks, I don't think I'm there yet, but I can't really I have to have some, I have to stay in reality a little bit. So I think with Mike, you can see us pulling a bit, in a hook. I mean, I can definitely hold him up a little longer than I did the last time we pulled, because last time he pretty much could flash me, right? But inside, I don't think I really could beat him. If I can keep his wrist straight, I think I can maybe top roll him, but so it sort of depends who gets the start and everything. So I'm not sure, but it felt pretty balanced, I would say. And yeah, it was weird because I also came into practice thinking I was only gonna top roll because I wanted my elbows to be healthy. But when you're pulling with so many people and so many strong guys, I mean, like I said before, I hate just doing something where it doesn't work and just doing that over and over again. So I mean, if I'm top rolling and it feels like nothing, well, I also I was telling people, but it's also an ego thing, right? I don't want other people to grip me and then just think all I have is nothing. I want to at least give them a workout. So I ended up just jamming inside, pressing, fucking everything. So my elbows are pretty sore, but it's not as bad as it's ever been. Maybe it means my elbow's getting better. But also I think I'm learning to, even though sometimes it looks a little, I don't know, dangerous or something when I'm pulling. I think I'm also learning how to pull not too much using my elbow and just side pressure. I think it's just with better technique. I think it also comes with just more just more safe positions and more elbow health. So yeah, I mean, practice felt good. I learned a bunch of stuff. I got to pull with Durrell, and then I got to pull with Tyler Bolzan. Also Jamie Staken. Yeah, I mean, felt ridiculous, but I mean that's also what I expected. And past a certain point, for me, I don't really care to grip up with the super strong, super elite guys, because it's cool to meet them and stuff, but I already get stonewalled by guys that they stonewall, so it's for me there's no difference, right? So that's why when Devin was at Jason's house, I was I mean, if I get to pull him, it's cool for the experience, but given that I'll probably get to see him again sometime, I didn't really care, because I knew that I sort of knew how it would feel, right? If I put my arm against a wall, you know what I mean? I don't really need to experience that. I mean, maybe it's still really cool. I'm sure it is, but showing something weird. I wish I could show you guys what they were teaching me and stuff. Oh, also I learned how to press from Alex. That will be in the video. But what Durrell was telling me was, a lot of times I slide my elbow away from my body to sort of gain more cup and stuff, to gain hand position, so I'll slide my elbow away and forward to gain hand. And that, I think that's still, there's still a use for that, but he was showing me how it exposes my arm a lot, and when the stronger guys are holding me, it's good, because whatever I'm doing, like, they're not gonna take advantage of it, so I just move however I want to get better position and stuff, right? But he was showing me how, you know, I need to always stay tight, and how easily you can just sort of disengage me when I get too separated, which makes a lot of sense. And also telling me about how, you know, when I'm rolling out, doing my little wonky rollout thing, I should keep my fingers still instead of just letting it all out, like spreading my hand out, which I think was also a good tip. And then also a bunch of people told me, Ian, he told me I should be cupping more, which is, yeah, I mean, I probably should. It's just that, well, the reason why I don't cup as much as I should in the beginning is I don't want to go into any kind of a hook, and I feel that when I focus on I sort of have to focus on one or the other. So either dragging back and maintaining finger pressure on the other guy, or cupping. Well, I know that it doesn't have to be one or the other, but for me it was kind of like that. So I was thinking, first I make sure that I keep the other guy's wrist straight, and then I can just sort of attack with my cup. That's sort of what I was thinking before, because I felt that if I tried to cup in the beginning, I would just sort of get rolled in a hook, and then once I get there, once the other guy gets a bend on his wrist, there's no way for me to roll out, or at least that's how I feel with guys when I'm pulling. So that was sort of the reason why, like, I don't think I was like fully committing to the like wrist flexion in the beginning, but I think like that's probably like a wrong way to look at it. I think you should find a way to get access to both from the start, and even if I get rolled into a little bit of a hook, the whatever like flat-handed thing I was doing is probably gonna have worse results anyway, so I'll definitely like keep that in mind. And then the last thing was I was pulling with Mike, and Yannick was telling me that I'm digging into the elbow pad way too much, so I'm putting in pressure down into the elbow pad. Instead, I should let it glide. So he said, like, imagine there's a sheet of paper between your elbow and the pad. And that was actually crazy, because, like, I never really thought about that. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I tried it, and obviously, like, it didn't make me twice as strong. Like, that didn't, knowing that didn't make me start beating guys that were stronger than me or anything, but I do think that like I can see how that can be super useful, and it makes a lot of like transitions and stuff a lot easier, and it sort of like opened another dimension to me of styles of pulling. So that was really cool. Like I've gotten tips and have like had some like, you know, like eye-opening moments, but I think that was actually like seems so obvious, but I had never really thought about that before. So that was cool. And then here Alex is sort of teaching me how to press, how to set up for it. Like once I get in that spot, I don't know if Alex, like, also I think he was like pretty beat up or something, and he has like super long arms and stuff, so maybe like, and maybe I was like, I don't know, but I did pin him a bunch of times. Obviously, like, I'm still kind of unsure whether or not I can use it in a real match, because I think it has to do a lot with like getting there first, and if like obviously I can't go into a press when the other guys have enough pressure to hold me center. So I'm still not sure, but once I get in there though, it does feel good, and it does feel natural. So I mean, I think I'll definitely practice it more. I think once I practice it more, it could be a good move. I mean, yeah, I mean, I watched a bunch of videos of Miguel beating guys that are, you know, quote unquote stronger than him with like pressing and stuff like that. So it's definitely like, I think if you're a weaker guy, I don't know, it's definitely something you could commit to. So, you know, like, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure. But yeah, what else? I guess that's sort of it for about the practice. I mean, it's just gonna be a bunch of pulling. I'll talk about East versus West. So that was a big event. I was super excited for it. I bought the pay-per-view even though I knew I wasn't gonna be able to watch it because we were gonna be traveling. Um, I heard Engen lost a bunch of money, which I sort of expected that it would happen. And I mean, I don't know. It pains me. Like I've talked about growing the sport and all this stuff a lot, and I do feel like, I'm just like a fucking nobody. So it's not like it'd be weird if I was like super committed or like worried about that. But still, I mean, man, I really really wish that it would do well. And then everyone's like shitting on the core sports production, and it probably deserved it. I didn't really go watch the whole thing. I think the audio was pretty bad, but the video was okay. They were talking about how they didn't know how to set up OBS or something on Reddit, which, like, it makes sense that to do certain things, like, you need a certain amount of, like, money and investment to make it work, but it just annoyed me because I know that, like, it's not that hard, and, like, if you just had the right people in the right place and people who knew what they were doing, instead of just, like, arm wrestlers like trying to figure out stuff that's just like outside of their, like what they know. I don't know. I just felt like we're so close to just having everything be really good, but just one or two things always like throw things off, and the fact that it lost a bunch of money. I mean, of course, right? Like 16 cards, it's not really like a smart idea for pay-per-view, even though it was like a ridiculous card. But I did bet on Gennady and Sandra, so I won some money. So I was happy about that. So I'll run through the matches real quick. Ramsey and Vlad, I didn't really know them at all. Anna and Angie. I actually thought Anna was gonna win, but I honestly haven't really seen any of their matches. I don't really know them that well. I think I just heard like Paul Italia or something talk about how strong Anna was, so I was like, okay, maybe she'll win. But obviously, I think I saw a bit of the match, so like, Angie was pretty dominant out of straps. They were like, she was able to slip. Oh man, I can't believe I said that. It's just I was thinking strap and slip. So Anna was able to slip out of straps, but in straps it seemed like Angie was pretty dominant. Jonathan, Breda, and Zurab. I don't really know much about Breda. Didn't know anything about Zurab, but I thought Zurab would win just because, I don't know, it just seemed like strong as fuck in a hook, and it seemed like it was going to go into a hook. And I think Zurab beat him in a hook like 3-0 or something, or 3-1. Ron and Fa. I was telling Steve, I mean, Ron is a strong guy, and Ron is like, according to people, like the second greatest North American arm wrestler of all time. But I think he holds on too much out of straps. Like, he's one of those guys who thinks like, flopping or letting go is like a, like, I don't know, like a weak thing or something, and he's like, pull like a man. And so that sort of happened where he held on to Fa out of straps and got pinned. But, like power wise, I mean, if they were in a strap or something, like power wise, I don't think it was that far. Just, I think Fa just top rolled in. Sandris and Chance, I honestly had no idea what shape the match would look like. I don't really watch too much of Sandris. I just sort of aware of him, and I'm sort of aware of like his achievements and stuff. And that's what's interesting when you're an arm wrestling fan instead of an arm wrestler, because I think like if you're an actual arm wrestler, you think too much about like how they actually pull and like how they look and all these things, instead of like just the perception and like in terms of like their achievements and stuff, right? And I think sometimes like the reason why some non-arm wrestlers can make better predictions than like actual arm wrestlers is because it is very effective. Just like it's sort of like a video game or something, or it's like basketball, right? It's like how they turned basketball into a video game. So it's like LeBron is like 99, right? Or like, and then like, I don't know, Karl Anthony Towns is like 87. So it's like, I mean, obviously you can't actually put a number on those things, but it's like just a way of understanding. And I think that also sort of applies to arm wrestling, and like if you sort of start to think about it that way, I think it definitely helps. But I like, honestly, like I didn't really know what shape it was going to go into, but I just thought Sandris was going to be stronger, and turns out Chances obviously looked pretty strong first round in the hook, but Sandris top rolled in pretty easily. The rest the rest of the rounds, beat him. Tobias and Artem Morozov. I didn't actually watch that match yet. I know that Artem won. I thought he would win also, even though, like I said, I don't know too much about it. It wasn't really based on anything, just based on what people were saying. Fia and Rebecca also didn't really have an opinion, but I sort of guessed that Fia would win. Yusuf and Oleg. I've watched some highlight videos of Oleg Cherkasov. So I know he's a beast, so I just thought he would win. Didn't really know much about the other guy. Ron and Zurab, right hand. I haven't watched the whole thing again yet, but I watched like bits of it, and it was a fucking war. And I didn't like I was. And the funny thing is, I was talking about how Ron was holding on out of straps, and then for some reason he almost like dove under to a King's move, which is awesome in this match. I really didn't know that he would pull like that, but that was crazy. And man, Ron Bath versus Paul Lynn after that match, I mean, I don't like, it could be a crazy war. It really could be a really, really good match. Okay, Schoolboy and Herman Stevens. I thought Schoolboy was too much for him. Apparently, I actually saw, I think, one or two of the matches. Herman top rolled him, so like Schoolboy, I don't know if Herman will be able to top roll him in straps, but the fact that Schoolboy set a hook, I mean, I really do think that Evan would have beat him, which is crazy, because when that match was first set, I was like, oh, Evan's probably going to get crushed, but now it seems like Evan would have had a good chance. That would have been fun. Obviously, Evan couldn't make it. Morozov and Pridnick, I thought Morozov was going to win just because, like, I don't know, just I thought Pridnick hadn't been around for a while, and there was, like, that video of him training with, what's his name? Oleg Petrenko or something. I don't know if it was him, but he wasn't, like, apparently he wasn't that good in training, and I was like, you know, I don't know if, I think he had COVID a few times, like, I don't know what shape he's in, so I just like, okay, Morozov might win. It turns out Pridnick just destroyed him, like, too stronger in a hook, also was able to top roll him, like, very impressive. Todd and Jordan. Todd beat him comfortably. I thought maybe they would get stuck in some spot, but I also bet on Todd, but Jordan never sold, so, but that was, I guess, sort of expected, most people. Oleg and Betkili, I didn't know too much about it. I still predicted Oleg to win. Looked like Betkili had a nice, like, jam stop, but oh man, just that works. Like, I think when the other guy is able to have a full cup, jamming sideways is not a good idea and usually never works. Like, if you're able to get some kind of pronation and jam sideways, I think it can work a lot of times. But man, the way the strap was looking on Oleg's hand was weird, man. I think Travis was talking about how he was saying, like, obviously Travis is just talking shit, but he was saying how Oleg's not even strong, and it's just the way the strap just goes on his anatomy, and like I haven't really figured out how, like, the leverages work and stuff like that. Like, I don't really know why that would be harder for the other person to pull against, but it looked weird. Like, it didn't look like it was supposed to be where it's supposed to be, so it was crazy. But I mean, Oleg's obviously, like, been through a lot, so it's good to see him, and good to see him win. Arif and Hermes, I haven't seen that match, but I expected Hermes to win. I actually thought it was lefty, but right hand, I think Hermes is strong as fuck. Michael and Gennady, I thought Michael could win, but I did think that the shutout stakes was a good bet for me, and especially Mike. The thing with Mike is he doesn't, like, he has basically, he's like how should I say it? He's like a disabled arm wrestler in the sense that some angles his arm doesn't straighten, his arm doesn't tighten, his hand doesn't bend, so it's like, even when he says he's, like, hitting sideways, it's weird. Like, it's like some kind of open, like, he uses his bone lock almost, and, like, it's really not, like, he's not able to pull fundamentally. So when he says things like, you know, I was able to hit sideways, I was able to go inside, I don't even know that he can go inside, like, really, just because of his disability. So it's like, I always sort of had, like, I knew that when he was saying, like, oh, my arm's so strong with Gennady and stuff, like, it wasn't gonna work. But I just didn't think that Gennady would be able to pin him so easily. But I think the biggest thing was the loose strap, and I don't know, like, now we're having to think is it the strap or is Gennady? I mean, probably a combination of all of these things. And just thinking about like Siplenkov and how Michael was able to hang up like Pushkar, Siplenkov, and now we're starting to think like did they just not know how to pull the King's move? Like, is the King's move like not as viable anymore at the elite level? I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously, like I'm a big fan of Mike. Like, probably one of my favorite or the favorite arm wrestler when I was like a fan, like YouTube fan. But yeah, it was like pretty sad to see him. I watched some of his live stream afterwards. It was pretty sad, but that was that. And then, oh yeah, so I think that sort of that has to put Hermes over Gennady, Kurdeka over Hermes. So it's like, in my opinion, it's Kurdeka has to be a beast, right? It's definitely, I think, top 3 or top 4. And then last match, Brzenk Zoloev. So I don't know. Like, I thought that maybe if they got in a hook, it could get nasty for John. Like, I never thought Zoloev could top roll him when he started saying that he was going to top roll him. I thought John would take it. But it seemed like, I mean, John is never, like, I only watched like 1 or 2 rounds, but even in a hook, even though John was in a more, like, high hook, like, more, like, he was also pronating into his fingers a little bit, I think, but John looked just really comfy everywhere, super dominant, and him and Todd Hutchings, I think, would be a good match. And yeah, that's crazy because that puts him at like top 5 or top 7 in North America right now. But insane. John's awesome. But yeah, that was it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching.